Welcome back to another episode. Well, not another episode, actually. This is a YouTube video. I'm so used to saying welcome back to another episode. So today what we have is the very beginning of our Dividend Challenge. So this was 100% inspired by JJ Buckner here on YouTube, and he also goes by Dividend Freedom, which is where he is portraying his whole dividend challenge. And this is going to be episode 0 for me. This is going to be ground zero, the starting point. This is something that I've been thinking of doing here for a while, and I first want to kind of start out with a little bit about who I am, if you don't necessarily know, as well as how this challenge is going to work, and kind of go down the list. I have a little list right here beside me. So to start off, who am I? My name is Brendan Shima. I am a student and an investor. And I have found a big passion in dividend investing, and so I wanted to share it here. I also run a podcast titled Financial Friends, and if you subscribe to this YouTube channel, you may very well know that I was uploading some episodes here on this channel, and I decided to kind of go away from that just because felt that there was a better opportunity to use this channel for some other things, as well as I like the audio version, and I don't really want to record myself currently at the moment. So I will be recording a picture here, as you can see, but for the most part, this is not going to be where the podcast is. I will definitely do some podcast updates and different things on here, as well as maybe some other videos, but it's kind of going to be this dividend challenge, as well as maybe a couple other topics. The quality is not going to be fantastic. I kind of want to jump off the bat there and say that this is what you're going to get. I'm going to be able to move my mouse here. You're going to see that this is going to pop up. But I'm just using kind of in-house things to record. This is very relatable. This challenge is really supposed to be something that's relatable and that others can mimic. And so I'm literally using, I have a microphone. I do a podcast, so that's where the audio is coming from. But other than that, I'm using my laptop camera here, as you can tell. That might be updated as well with some lights behind here and just some screen recording stuff that I was able to pick up on the laptop for free. And so this whole challenge is really going to be about growing a dividend portfolio over time and making slow contributions to it and watching it grow. And so I hope all of you guys can join me, kind of watch it grow. So I'm going to be doing this on Fidelity, and I'm going to be tracking it with Track Your Dividends. At first, this was going to be something that I did on M1 Finance, where I set up a nice, big, cool visual pie, etc., etc. But the minimum deposit for a Roth IRA, which is the vehicle we're going to be using for this investment challenge here, that required a $500 minimum deposit, and not only is that not relatable, that was something that was going to take me a little bit of time to save up for. And a close friend of mine, CTS Shah, or Chris, he sent a link in a group chat that I was in with him for Fidelity, and they were offering a $100 sign-up bonus for a $50 deposit. So I jumped on that, and here we are. So moving on from there, how is this going to work? So this is going to be, like I said, a dividend challenge where we are going to kind of go over different dividend companies. I'm going to ask for your input, and this is kind of where I'll do that now. I'd like your guys' input. What would you like to see? What stocks would you like to see in the portfolio? Any recommendations that you have? Maybe change the rules up, which the rules are going to be kind of simple. We're going to add as we go. And I'm planning on adding $10 a week and making a weekly, or maybe adding $10 a week, but making a bi-weekly update to this. I'm not 100% sure yet. But go ahead and leave some recommendations in the comments. I will also leave some links to my public account, Twitter account, Instagram account, etc. And you can kind of leave some recommendations there. On public, I will have a little bit of a spot for you to leave some recommendations. And obviously in the comments down here, you can leave some recommendations as well. And we're really just going to continue to add to positions. I do have 4 sort of categories that I want to outline that are going to be extremely important as we move through this. And that is going to be ETFs, growth, stable, and real estate. And I put growth and stable in these sort of air quotes because they are not necessarily, they don't have to fit in the growth. They don't have to fit in the stable. These are more than likely going to be just individual stocks. And obviously ETFs are going to be ETFs, and real estate is just going to be exposure to real estate. So for some examples, I have ETFs might include SCHD, VOO, VTI, and VYM. Obviously, VOO and VTI are both positions that are a bit broader, and they're not necessarily dividend focused, but I'm looking at making this portfolio something that is stable, something that is safe, and that can be replicated by anyone who's watching. And I'm also going to be on Fidelity, so I'm 100% going to be using some of those equivalents that they have that are zero expense ratio. So I'll make sure that when I highlight those, that I leave the alternative investments if you're not with Fidelity. I also have some of the growth examples listed. That would be like Apple, Microsoft, and even Target. I think Target may be able to fit into stable too. And I'm a beginner, so we're going to kind of learn together what's stable, what's not, what's growth, what's not. But I would consider Target a little bit more of a growth company. But we will find out together. Some stable examples I have, things like 3M, Procter & Gamble, and Johnson & Johnson. Those are going to be big, massive companies with a lot of different product lines, and they've been paying dividends forever. So whether it be a dividend aristocrat, dividend king, whatever, those are some examples there. And then in terms of real estate exposure, some examples I have listed here are VNQ or O. So VNQ is going to be some different real estate trusts, and O is a company that owns a ton of different properties. We will go over those as well. So I'm looking at getting about a 50% allocation to ETFs, about a 20% allocation to the growth, about a 20% allocation to stable, and about 10% exposure to real estate. So obviously those are going to fluctuate, change, go up and down, and my guess is that the individual companies are going to be a lot more fun for the purposes of this challenge, and so that will continue to grow. But again, this needs to be replicable and safe. So we're going to try and focus on making sure that we add to those ETFs as well. And as I said, each week is going to be $10. So whether that $10 is put into one place or not is going to determine some fluctuation. And that is about all I have in terms of face-to-face. I'm going to hop into track our dividends here. So let me just move this back down to the corner. Kind of push myself away there. So as you can see, we have a few examples of some stocks here. This is my personal portfolio at the moment. And I have a dividend yield of 1.56, a yield on cost of 1.79, an annual income of $69, and a portfolio beta of 9.5 with a total of around $4,407 in there. You can also check your diversification. And the reason I'm showing you all this is because these are some tools we are going to be using within the challenge to kind of analyze our portfolio, which is going to be brand new and is not going to have any of this in here. So you can see here, defensive, sensitive, cyclical, fund, which includes ETFs that have U.S. equities in it, or some sector-specific equities, which would be like VNQ here. You can obviously see the real estate exposure there. Largest holdings, highest dividend payers. You can also see your upcoming dividends, which would include dates of when you're expected to get paid, how much, the variance between the highest and the lowest, and here's kind of the payout schedule. So again, these are all things we're going to be using. We're definitely going to utilize Yahoo Finance as well, and be doing some research together, be looking at different stocks, maybe screening some stocks, but really just building out our portfolio. So I'm going to leave you with this. As I make myself a bit bigger here, I'm going to leave you with this. Just go ahead and pop into the comments and tell me, what would you like to get out of this? What would you like to see? I'm really doing this for the community and for myself to be able to track our growth. So if you want to do this alongside me and you have some things you're investing in, leave those down below. If you have some things that you would like me to invest in, leave those down below. If you have any recommendations as to what else you'd like to see, again, leave those down below. And make sure you go head over to the Financial Friends podcast on Anchor and check that out. There's going to be some updates and some talk of this there, as well as my TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And join public. You can get a free slice of a stock. Why not? That is free money. So with that being said, guys, we will see you in the next episode. Have a great and safe day. Bye.